Hello and welcome back to the Critically Clueless. Today we are in Disciples Liberation. We are going over what I think are the best troop units within the Empire. And don't forget guys, if you want to see more Disciples Liberation content, don't forget to hit that like button and of course subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss out on more videos just like this. Now, the first unit I want to talk to you about today was the War Priestess. Only has an initiative of 110, is a tier 1 troop. Now, unfortunately, these are a little bit spongy. When I use them, more often than not, they do die. So you either have to protect them or just be prepared to make a lot of them. I would also strongly recommend you add in a shard to bring up their initiative as well, because they are a little bit on the slow side. Now their first ability is a mace strike and it will deal physical damage. Simple as that. Now the second ability is why I choose to have them in my army more often than not. They will call forth divine energy. This will deal divine damage to enemies and will also heal any allies in the area. Now it actually does a pretty good job at healing as well. It also has a range of 2 tiles away from this character. That's 2 tiles in any direction within the hexagon grid. So it can be used really effectively, especially if, say for instance, a few of your units are injured. You're able to get in there, attack some units and heal some units at the same time. My first playthrough within this game, I actually always ran with 2 of these in my army. And the backline ability, if you choose to use it for this, you will be granted divine protection and blessed. So I personally really love healing units. Units that heal in general are my jam. Having one of these in your back line could be really beneficial to you, because blessed gives you an increase of 50% healing, effectively making war priestesses even more valuable to your army. Next up, we have the Witch Hunter. This is tier 2. This is a ranged unit and has an initial initiative of 120. Now the first ability you get is Pin Shot. You can only use this once, even if you don't move, unfortunately, and it will deal physical damage. Second ability is Blessed Arrow, and you will deal divine damage in a straight line. It also inflicts blinded to targets, and this move deals an additional 20% damage to undead and demon enemies. And if I didn't make this clear, it will actually attack every single unit within the 5-line range. We also get a passive ability. So Pin Shot actually has a 50% chance to inflict immobilize on a target. This chance rises to 100% if the target is blind, confused, or weakened. Now immobilize means the target cannot move, which means it can't come attacking you. And lastly, we have Blinding Shot on a backline ability. You will deal divine damage and it will also inflict a blind on a target. This is a very good backline ability. In fact, I've had a Witch Hunter on my backline completing the game. Next up, we have another tier 2 unit, only 100% initiative, or only 100 initiative. I would strongly recommend you boosting that up. The first ability deals divine damage and weakened on targets if they're below 75 health. Next up, we have Healing Chain, which will do just that. It will heal a chain of 3 people and give them regen. The passive ability we get is that actually removes, the second ability actually removes a negative condition that we have on each ally that we actually managed to get. And backline ability is that it will heal 1 target with the lowest HP. Now, unfortunately, the Priestess doesn't have a tremendous amount of health, so that's worth keeping in mind if you do have her included in your army. She works really good on the backline and in my opinion is a strong contender. Next, we have a White Wizard. This is a tier 3 unit, so you're going to have to wait a little bit till later in the game to actually get your hands on this. Only 100 initiative. Again, I would strongly advise you change that. Now, the first ability is Radiant Light, and it will deal divine damage and inflict weaken on targets. Ability number 2 is Wave of Light, and it sends a wave of pure light energy forward, hitting all targets. It deals divine damage to the enemies and it heals allies, also granting them resilience, and it inflicts blind on enemies. So once again, this attacks your enemies and heals your allies. The passive ability is a bit conditional. So if anyone hit by the first 2 abilities is already blinded, you will then inflict burning to the target. And the backline ability is not too good if you ask me. It grants you immunity from blind and confusion, and that is it. And lastly, my most favourite unit within the Empire units is the Imperial Assassin. Now, as I've said before in other videos, initiative is so very important. Having that first hit in a battle can be a complete game changer, and the Imperial Assassin comes with 150 initiative, meaning he's pretty much going to attack first. I would always boost it myself because there are other units within other factions you're going to be coming up against which will also have that 150, so I'd always want my troops to be first, so I would boost it up. And again, he is a tier 3 unit, so you're going to have to wait till a little bit later in the game before you can actually access it. Now, the first ability is a basic strike. You will deal physical damage and it also inflicts weaken to the target. The second ability is called Vanished, and it will grant you stealth for 2 turns. Deals massive damage and inflicts a bleeding on the target when attacking with stealth. However, personally speaking, this is hard to actually make work, but if you do manage it, it's amazing. Now, you can't actually be targeted while you're in stealth. However, unfortunately, a lot of units use area of effect damage, meaning that they can actually target you if they manage to pull one of those off where you are. And that will bring you out of stealth, meaning you can't use this. However, they have a redeeming feature, and that is their passive ability. Flank damage dealt by Imperial Assassins is increased by 50%. Which, by the way, is quite awesome. It's very easy to get a flank, therefore you can deal extra damage this way. And as for the backline ability, the Imperial Assassin will grant you evasive and improve your criticals to all Empire units until the end of battle, meaning you do actually have to play an Empire unit to make this worthwhile. Now for a bonus character, we have got the Holy Avenger. This list could not have been made without this character. Oh my god, just an unbelievably overpowered character. Only tier 3 again. Has an initiative of 110. I would personally try and boost that up a little bit. And of course is a melee attacker. So the first ability is kind of insane because it deals physical damage. However, if the target you've hit dies, you get refunded a gold AP, meaning you can go and attack another person. If they die, you can do it again. Now, admittedly, this may be a little bit tricky to kind of trigger to make sure it happens, but it's so powerful knowing you actually have this ability to do. The second ability blesses the ground around the Holy Avenger for 1 turn, dealing divine damage. It inflicts weakened and slowed on targets. A nice little bonus is the passive ability grants you 30% less damage from undead and demon units, meaning you can take a bit more of a hit. And the backline ability is just so overpowered. You will deal divine damage. You will attack the enemy with the lowest HP. And if that target is defeated, you will attack another. If you leave 5 enemies on just a titch of health, you will attack every single one of them, killing them all off in turn. Quite possibly the Empire units actually have the strongest backline units throughout the entire game. I absolutely love the Holy Avenger, and I have her as my backline every single playthrough as soon as I can get this unit. However, even though this unit is so good, I would honestly recommend boosting it up its initiative if you plan on using it as an attacking unit. As you can see, once all boosted, we have the ability to attack first with our entire team, meaning that we can deal maximum damage in the first round. But let me know down below in the comments what you think. Who is the strongest unit in the Empire? Is there one that I haven't mentioned yet? Is there one that you use every single playthrough that you're kind of screaming at me like, why haven't you chosen this? If I had to pick just one unit in the Empire's lot, I'm going to have to pick the Holy Avenger. It's just so overly powered. I've included some gameplay at the end of this video as well, so if you stick around you'll be able to see just how strong it is. It's kind of crazy if you can yet make it work. And don't forget guys, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, hit that subscribe button, that way you don't miss out on more Disciples Liberation content. But until next time guys, I've been the Monk and we've been a Critically Clueless, and I will catch you real soon.
Well.